Hello everyone. I hope you're feeling well, you're keeping well, and you're enjoying wherever you are, whether you're back at nursery or still at home. Today we're going to have another story, and today's story is about a little girl whose name we don't know. We only know her by what she wears. So this is the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there's a little girl who lived in a cottage by a wood with her parents. And in the forest, the wood, lived her grandmother. So quite near, there was a path in between the two houses. And Granny wasn't feeling well. So Little Red Riding Hood's mother said to her, "Would you take a basket of food and something to drink to Granny to help her feel better?" So together they got a large basket and they started to put things into it which they thought would be good for Granny and which Granny would enjoy. And this is where you come in. You have a think about what you would put in a basket to take over to your granny or maybe your grandpa or even a friend who wasn't feeling well and you wanted to help them feel better and also to cheer them up. So that's something you could maybe do after the story. Think what you would have put in the basket. Little Red Riding Hood put a bottle of orange juice. She put some cake. She put some strawberries. She put some chocolate because Granny liked chocolate. A couple of pears. What else did she put? Some eggs, so she could have maybe a scrambled egg. Some cereal, and some vegetables. So she took some carrots. Little Red Riding Hood picked up the basket. It was quite heavy with all this stuff in it, but she could carry it. And she was about to set off when her mother said, "Just a minute. Before you go, there are a couple of things you need to remember. Firstly, go straight to Granny's house. No wandering off. Keep on the path. Don't go off to pick flowers that you see in the distance. Just keep on the path straight to Granny's house." "All right, Mummy," said Little Red Riding Hood. "The other thing you must remember, sweetheart, is don't talk to anyone on the way. Okay, just keep focused on getting the basket to Granny and don't stop to talk to anyone, all right?" "Yes, Mummy," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, aren't you forgetting something?" said Mummy. "Don't think so. We've got my basket. I know I've got to stay on the path and not talk to anyone." "Yeah, but you haven't got on your Little Red Riding Hood." "You'd forget your head if it wasn't for your neck." So Little Red Riding Hood put on her, it was like a cape with a red hood, and off she went. She hadn't gone very far along the path when she saw some really pretty flowers just beyond the trees. They were bluebells, and she thought, "Oh, those would make a nice posy for Granny. Oh no, but I mustn't. I must just keep going along the path, carrying my basket to Granny." A little bit further on, she saw some, looked like wild honeysuckle. In fact, she could smell the wild honeysuckle. Oh, some of that would be lovely in a vase in Granny's bedroom. I'll not do anything. I'll keep going. I'll have one last sniff just to remember the scent, and I'll keep going with my basket off to Granny's house. A little bit further on, somebody stepped onto the path. Somebody very suave, very sophisticated. And the somebody said, "Hello." And Little Red Riding Hood looked and was about to say hello back, but she didn't say anything. Remember what Mummy had said, don't speak to anyone on the way. And she just looked at this stranger. And the stranger said, "Where are you off to with a, oh my, a basket of goodies? Where are you going?" And the little girl said, And the stranger said, "Oh, I know. You've been told not to talk to strangers. Very sensible, very wise. I think someone's mummy is a very wise woman. But I'm not a stranger. I live here, and I've seen you going to and fro before. I just haven't had the courage to speak to you. Are you off to see your granny?" Oh, and Little Red Riding Hood was a bit surprised that this stranger knew where she was going. "Oh, yes, I am," she blurted out. Oh, it's all right," said the stranger. "I know where Granny lives. It's just, well, it's following the path, isn't it?" said Little Red Riding Hood. "There is a shortcut, you know," said the stranger. "Would you like to come with me? We'd go past, let me see, wild honeysuckle, and bluebells. I think there are some briar roses as well. You could cut a nice little posy for Granny. Would you like to come with me? It's even shorter than the path." said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, well," said the stranger, "have a lovely day. Oh, and give my regards to Granny. Bye." said Little Red Riding Hood, and skipped off with her basket, thinking she'd really done pretty well by not going with the stranger and not really talking to him. The stranger watched her go. The stranger was a wolf. The stranger was a wolf who was hungry, not just for the contents of the basket. He was hungry for tough old Granny and very sweet, succulent little girl. The wolf was a very fast runner, and he hadn't been lying when he said that his way to Granny's house was actually a shortcut rather than following the path. So as soon as Little Red Riding Hood was out of sight, he ran, as only a wolf can run, all the way to Granny's house, and on Granny's door. Who is it?" said rather a weak and feeble voice from upstairs. "It's your granddaughter," said the wolf. Come in," said Granny. The door's open." "Silly old fool," said the wolf, and opened the door, looked round the cottage, spotted the stairs, up the stairs, and pounced on Granny in the bed. "Help!" said Granny, but too late. The wolf put a big paw over her mouth, and then he hit her on the head, and Granny slumped. Very carefully, the wolf took off Granny's nightcap, which she had on, and took off Granny's glasses, and then managed to lift Granny, or drag her out of the bed, and opened the wardrobe door and bundled Granny into the wardrobe and closed the door. The wolf put on Granny's night hat and put on Granny's little glasses, and just got into the bed when he heard, "Granny, Granny, it's me." Come in, my dear, I'm in bed," said the wolf. And up the stairs, carrying her basket, came Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf had pulled the covers right up to his nose, so really all Little Red Riding Hood could see were the pair of glasses and the night hat. "Hello, my dear, how lovely to see you," said the wolf. "Oh, hello, Granny. Oh, you're not looking so well, are you?" "No, I'm not feeling so well, my dear. Come and sit a little bit nearer me on the bed. It's lovely to see you. Ooh, and don't you smell nice?" "Oh, that's not me, Granny," said Little Red Riding Hood. "That's all the lovely things I've got for you in my basket." "Oh, lovely. Let's have a look," said the wolf, Granny, and peered into the basket. And as the wolf was looking into the basket, Little Red Riding Hood noticed something. And Little Red Riding Hood said, "Oh, Granny, what very big eyes you've got." And the wolf said, "All the better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. "Oh, all right, Granny. Do you like what you see in the basket?" And the wolf was looking in the basket, and as the wolf was looking in the basket, Little Red Riding Hood noticed something else poking out from under Granny's night hat. And Little Red Riding Hood said, "Oh my goodness, Granny, you've got absolutely huge ears. What huge ears you've got." And the wolf said, "All the better to hear you with, my dear. I do love listening to you." And then, as the wolf, Granny, was looking in the basket, sniffing all the nice smells of the food, looking with her big eyes, Little Red Riding Hood said, "Oh, Granny, I'd never noticed before what huge teeth you've got." And that was it. That did it for the wolf. And the wolf pulled off Granny's night hat and pulled off Granny's glasses and said, "Yes, all the better to eat you with, my dear." And the wolf jumped out of bed and was just about to grab Little Red Riding Hood, who was quite fast, and started to run round the bed, when there was not a knock on the door, but the sound of the door downstairs being flung open and great thudding footsteps coming up the stairs. And there, in the bedroom, was Little Red Riding Hood's father, who was a woodcutter, and he had a huge axe with him, and he started to chase the wolf round the bedroom. Now the wolf had had enough of this. He knew when he was beaten, and he ran down the stairs, out the front door, and was off. "Oh, Daddy, Daddy," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, you saved me from that horrible big wolf, but I don't know what's happened to Granny." And just then they heard a kerfuffle coming from the wardrobe, and the door burst open, and there was Granny. Granny fell out onto the floor. "Oh, Granny," said Little Red Riding Hood, "are you all right?" And Granny said, "Oh, yes, I am, actually. That's done me the power of good, that nasty wolf. Oh, I'm so pleased you're all right, my dear." And Granny got back into bed, but actually she was feeling an awful lot better. And she said, I don't think I want to eat in bed. I'm going to put on my dressing gown and come downstairs, and we'll have something to eat in the dining room." So the three of them, Little Red Riding Hood and her father and Granny, went down the stairs, and Little Red Riding Hood put all the lovely things she'd brought for Granny onto the table, and they had a bit of an indoor picnic. The wolf was never seen in those parts again. And Little Red Riding Hood, her mummy, her daddy, and her Granny lived happily ever after. And that's the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Just a couple of things to think about. What would you pack in a basket to take to someone who wasn't feeling well, someone you wanted to cheer up? Can you think of any other stories where the main character, the main person in the story, doesn't really have a name, but is known for what they look like, or what they wear, or what they do? And I think there was one other question. Oh yes, that's right. There's a wolf in this story, isn't there? And at the end of the story, this version, the wolf goes running away through the woods, never to be seen again. Can you think of another story which has got a wolf in it, who in the end goes running away through the woods, never to be seen again? Right, good luck with those questions. and stay well, stay safe, keep enjoying where you are and who you're with, and let's finish off with a very quick scissor clap and a little butterfly flap. I wonder if Little Red Riding Hood saw some butterflies in the wood, probably. And a big crocodile clap and a little penguin clap, and finally a clap. Hey, first time. Well done everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye.